Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is when you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. I've been reflecting on my career and my journey as an educator, as a human services professional, as an Ifa priest, a community servant. And the more I reflect on it, the more I realize how significant it is to convey the value of what I do to the folks who either don't have an idea about the importance and the value of education, and as well as for the folks who do have a value, but you just need to have it affirmed in order for you to really get into gear. There are things that you don't want to compromise on if you can afford it. For example, in theory, anybody can prepare your taxes. In theory, anybody can work on your car. In theory, anyone can provide medical attention for you. In theory, anybody can do dental work for you. In theory, anybody can teach you, right? In theory and principles, like, sure, it's possible. And there are some things that can be fixed, that can be remedied, that can be repaired without a lot of specialized knowledge. But then there are some things that absolutely, positively require professional skill, training, ability. There's some medical treatments that you do not want to put in the hands of someone who is not a highly skilled professional. There's some dental work that you absolutely, positively do not want to put in the hands of a novice. There are some things that car repairs that no. The last thing you want to do is take that car to the shade tree mechanic. You have to get that taken care of by someone who really knows what they're doing. Likewise, when it comes to teaching, there are things that you really need to learn from someone who knows how to teach. That things that you have to learn from someone who knows what to teach. Things that you have to learn from someone who knows when to teach certain things. Because once you have encoded your mind with certain information, you've encoded your mental habits with certain ways of thinking and processing, it's a lot of work to unlearn. It's a lot of work to undo. And the problem is that you won't know, when it comes to learning, you won't really know what you don't know and how you were misinformed until it's too late. It's something that I think a lot of people, as they age and mature and they realize, my education, in school was substandard, and I was misinformed. I was totally miseducated. When we think about our heritage, our culture, our identities, right? Once you get to a certain age and you start to really look around, you realize, oh, wow, everything that they told me about myself and my history was either a little off or blatant lies. Even things that are more mundane and straightforward. The things that they taught me about the banking system, the things that they taught me about the legal system, the things that they didn't teach me about banking, about law. I have been completely misinformed, and as a result, I have a supreme disadvantage. But it's kind of late in the game for me. I'm 35 years old. I'm 50 years old, and I'm just getting an understanding of what I wasn't told or what was told to me incorrectly. The way I've been living on false pretenses all my life, right? It's the same with Orisha. It's the same. And you got people who, they can be presenting you information with passion and with sincerity, but they don't know what they're telling you. They don't know why they're telling you what they're telling you. Even in a lot of instances, someone will tell you, oh yeah, well, this is what my Oluwo told me. Okay, but is your Oluwo a student of the tradition? Is your Oluwo a student of the civilization? Is your Oluwo giving you information in order to enable you to really fully connect the dots and understand the fullness of what Ifa is saying? Or is your Oluwo trying to convey something that just is, designed to help you solve an immediate problem? Right? It's not an attack on your Oluwo. It's just a question of, you have to understand, is this person teaching you, or is this person passing on information? Because there's a difference between the two. I can be giving you information for a particular purpose. I can be giving you information to answer specific questions. But teaching you and educating you is going to give you the full context. Let me give you an example of what I'm thinking of right now. I was an apprentice for 5 years to a Babalawo who was scholarly. And scholarly in the sense that he gathered a lot of information in books and other sources, and then he followed it up. So the whole time that I was apprenticing with him, he was going back and forth to Africa constantly, and going to Ijebu land, going to Oyo, going to Oshogbo, going to Ife, going to Ouida, going to Porto Novo, going to Alada. He was going directly to the source. And he was conducting interviews, gathering footage, and coming back and sharing those teachings and those insights with me. And this is how I began my apprenticeship. So my exposure has always been, let's say, Pan-Yoruba. And so we were getting cultural context for verses. And so even though he wasn't necessarily breaking down all of the details of every single verse, he conditioned me to think about, when Ifa is referencing this word, this is, if Ifa says Oshugbo, for example, okay, this is something that's coming from Ijebu land. This is a verse of Ifa that comes from Ijebu. And this is what Oshugbo means. This is what Oshugbo functions as. This is what this particular person in the Oshugbo does, in Ijebu land in particular. So that helps you to get a better understanding of the fullness of the message. Oh, this verse makes reference to the Bale. Okay, this is coming from Oyo and its environs. And this is how the Bale functions in that environment. This is what the Bale does. These are things that help you to understand that. Ifa assumes that you already know these things, though. Ifa assumes that you already know these things. So in addition to the lesson that that verse has for you as an individual in this moment, the broader lesson and principle at play requires that you get a broader, bigger cultural context. I hope I'm making myself clear. This became really important and valuable to me because later on, I became a regional coordinator for a nationwide, let's say, a correspondence course in Ifa, right? And it included a compilation of verses of Ifa from all over Yoruba land, right? And so they were indexed. Hey, this is what is Ifa, this is Orisha, this is Olodumare, this is, right? And then all the verses that would substantiate how you understand Olodumare, all the verses that would substantiate how you understand Ifa, etc., etc. Okay? But immediately, what I knew, that was different from everyone else who I was studying with was I could read a verse and I could see the cultural context. I could see the cues. So I could understand more of what the verse was saying based on that full context. So I'd have to explain it to my people, or I'd be able to ask questions. Okay, this is referring to this, and what about that? Explain, what this particular word means. Because I know that I'm looking for more than just the immediate answer to this individual's question. How does this fit within the context of the civilization? How does this fit into the context of the culture? Right? So that is the difference between passing information and educating, teaching. Okay? These are the things that when you learn from the beginning, you want to be clear about what the teacher is trying to do, what the teacher is trying to convey, what the teacher's definition of success is. Because if the teacher is just trying to pass on information, then they're not really a teacher. That's somebody who's just passing on information. Your teacher is creating context, always. Your teacher is putting you into the environment so that you can see yourself within that learning experience. And then you can make your decisions and connect to those elements in the learning environment that will make it meaningful for you. That's the difference between passing information and teaching. And then there's training, which is slightly different as well. So these are important. These are essential. These are essential to your ability to actually learn. And you want to get this in the beginning of your learning. If you can afford someone who's going to educate you, you want to pay the money. You want to put in the time and the effort to be educated. If you can afford it, if you have the time, if you have the mental capacity, if you have the money, you should pay for a quality education and not settle. Just like you should pay for proper medical care. You should pay for proper dental care. You should pay for proper legal representation. You shouldn't skimp on it, because later on, the long-term effects, it's just not worth whatever you thought you were going to save. So really what I'm saying is that you can afford it. Make it so that you can afford it. Make time for proper education. If you're serious about Orisha and you don't want to have regrets later on, make the time to get a proper education. Make the money, save the money, put the money aside to get a proper education. If you want to learn this and you want to fully understand it over time, you're not just trying to get quick results. There's a difference. If you want quick results, then you pay the guy to do the work and he doesn't have to explain really too much of anything to you. But if you want to know it and you want to practice it with full knowledge, then you need to make that sacrifice to get a proper education, to get proper training. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. So this is a message for the leaders, for the folks who are really, really determined to improve the world through positive influence. If you're one of those people, I want you to find out how Oloye or Bafemi Origunwa and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy can help you take your practice and your life to the next level. Visit me at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com. And let's start working together to help you live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now. Odabo.